Hello everyone, welcome back. What am I up to? I will get to it. It is summer, it is July, it is hot, it is our pitta season. That is the element of fire, of course, a little bit of water. I probably didn't have to tell you this. Summer ailments are related to heat and humidity. So we will be doing a cooling and soothing practice today. We have our beverage of the day. So things that we might have leaned on in the winter, like a golden milk or cozy, heavier beverages, probably won't serve us very well in the summer. I like hibiscus tea. Generally, we're finding recommendations. If you go and do a little Google about summer beverages, you're probably gonna find floral recommendations. The same thing for essential oils too. For our tea, thinking florals, rose water, like I said, hibiscus, chamomile is probably the easiest one to find. Lavender is another favorite. And the idea is that florals are very soothing, especially to our hot emotions. So there is the heat hypothesis, this idea that the hotter it gets, the more prone people are to anger and violence. You might find this in yourself, this sort of hot irritability that comes over you. So one way that we can combat that is not just our floral tea, but thinking about how we're taking it in. I don't like that much when it comes to frozen stuff. You might prefer to brew a bag of tea, tiny bit of water, and the rest just ice cubes. For me, I brew my bag of tea and fill the rest with cold water, and that's cooling enough for me. If you like a lot of ice, if you find you have this insatiable thirst for anything frozen and you don't find that you get any digestive upset or anything like that, if you're working in the heat and it helps you regulate your body temperature, okay, go ahead. Common sense. I'm a big believer in sipping to regulate our body temperature. In the winter, you'll always find me sipping hot, and in the summer, you will find me sipping cold. If you're not such a fan of floral teas, or maybe you find that just having plain water isn't enough, electrolyte beverages are very popular, but here's the problem with anything that is sweet. It can actually elevate our body temperature. So if you are going for some sort of electrolyte beverage, your health food store probably has a million different powders that you can choose from. The electrolyte quality of that is fantastic, but check the sugar content, because we know sugar is not a health food, but also eating sweets can elevate our body temperature, which we don't want. Again, what I like about the hibiscus is it gets this it's pink, right? So I feel this sort of tropical sweet treat from it without having enough sugar content to really, tip me over the edge into excess sugar. Okay, there's our cooling beverage. What about our essential oil? Well, unfortunately, my cute little glass essential oil bottle broke earlier this week, and all I had around the house was what I've been using to water my plants. So I thought, okay, the plants will survive. It's humid right now, they'll be fine. I'm gonna take this giant spray bottle and fill it with peppermint hydrosol. It's a little different than our peppermint essential oil. The production is a little bit different. Hydrosol is sometimes called a floral water. It works in very much the same way as peppermint. It's still cooling, soothing, can kind of give us that energy if we're feeling tired or we're drooping in the afternoon heat, but it's much gentler for sensitive skin. So if you are that type of person who likes to spray or use peppermint oil on your wrists or the back of the neck, fantastic. If you find you're too sensitive for peppermint, maybe a diluted peppermint hydrosol or pure peppermint hydrosol would work for you without any irritation. The other option, sometimes people find just the whole peppermint mintiness overwhelming. You may like spearmint instead. Again, diluted as a smell to give you that sort of energy, or on your wrists, back of the neck, something like that to help you feel cool. And you may be asking, well, what about coffee for energy? Actually, coffee increases the fire element. In terms of Ayurveda, even cold coffee can kind of give us this internal cook still sometimes causes heartburn and things like that, so we might want to stay away from that. Could you make a green tea and then ice it? Sure, why not? The thing about Ayurveda is about what you can get away with, right? So some of us might be able to eat spicy food all summer and be fine. Some of us might have an iced coffee and be overwhelmed by heartburn. So as always, and the same with our practice today, listen to your body, do what feels best, respond appropriately as the season changes and as your body changes. Okay, what about our practice? We will be doing my annual favorite I love to throw in for the Pitta season, a mix of yoga and Tai Chi, or you may know it as Yo Chi, putting those two words together. Two things I really like. We get to kind of embody the element of water, which is naturally cooling by doing flowing fluid movements. And also we get a workout. We're still working on our subtle energy systems without overcooking ourselves. So the routine we're about to do would be fantastic on a day where it's hot and you want to move, but it's too hot to get a super intense workout. Or maybe you have issues with inflammation throughout the rest of the year. This would be another program to come back to if you have, you know what I'm talking about, like hot inflamed joints, or if you're prone to headaches, any of these sort of hot-headed feelings. This might be a great routine for you any month of the year. Okay, you may notice I'm sitting on a chair. This is my last note. For the sake of balance, you may want to place the chair in front of you for some of the movements that we are doing. So as we move side to side or front and back, the chair will be there for you. Generally, we want a sturdy chair that's not going to slide across the floor as we go. So choose wisely if you like to have a chair. Another option would actually be to set this up in your kitchen and do this in front of your kitchen countertop. That's another great sturdy support. For the sake of viewing, I'm going to move the chair out of the way. I'm going to put all this junk out of the way, and we are ready to begin. Let's take our hands to our low belly. In Tai Chi, this is known as our dantian. Maybe in fitness classes, we say belly button to spine, or sometimes they say like the front of our hip bones as though we're pulling them toward one another. Strong, deep core muscles. Or in yoga, we call it our belly lock. So we are pulled in, we are strong in our core. We're gonna be fluid in the rest of the body. For a moment now, closing our eyes, turning our attention inward. Let's feel the flow of breath, feeling the movement of breath deep down into our hands. Gentle expansion of the low belly. And still feeling strength through the core as we're here. I just did a whole lot of talking. We might like to shake the head gently or do some other little movements here to kind of reset, empty our minds out as we move into our practice. Let's bring in elements of nature, wiggling our toes, imagining as though we are standing in the cool grass. Maybe we want to imagine that the morning dew is on our feet, cooling us down. Engaging the muscles of the feet, rooting into the earth. Throwing the crown of the head up towards the sky. Feeling as though our head is floating in the clouds, letting the weight of the world go from our shoulders as well. So we have this balanced feeling of weighting down and also floating up, heavy and light at the same time. Let's take 3 more full breaths here, and then we'll begin to move. As we're ready to open the eyes, we'll match our breath to our movement, just as we do in our yoga class. A little more Tai Chi inspired. We're going to inhale, drawing hands up through center. And then as we get to our shoulders, turning out, bringing it around. And I actually love this one for posture, inhaling up. And as we bring our hands up towards our shoulders, that might give us a greater awareness of not slumping or slouching in our posture. Our eyes can sort of go with it, and maybe we're bending our knees as we go through. One of the things that I notice I struggle with in Tai Chi practices is a lot of tightness through the calves. So some of these movements where our knees are bending, but our heels are down, can help to lengthen out our calves, and we're gently warming up now. Okay, we're gonna make this movement bigger. Let's come up through center. We can interlace, reach to the sky, and then we'll practice hip hinging. So let's take hands to thighs, shifting our hips back as we're sort of bowing forward with a flat back here. Let's do that again. We're coming up. We can interlace if we like, big stretch like we've just woken up. Hands to thighs, and I'll show us from the side. See, my spine is straight. Again, this awareness of heart lifted, not slumping forward. So I always like to say, like a deadlift. I don't know if any of us are in the gym deadlifting, if that means anything to you. Otherwise, just flat back. Okay, we'll take our hands to our knees, still a flat back. Generally we go, maybe our heels are about a fist width apart, and the same for our knees. Hands are gently cupping our knees, and we'll take our knees in a circle. So as much as this is called knee circling, I actually like to think of it as ankle mobilizing. So as we go through these circular movements, we have a little bit of core engagement because our bodies are tipped forward, but we're also taking our ankles through a range of motion here. Let's notice which direction we're going, and we'll take it the other direction. So similar to like kind of walking on uneven ground, like one of the benefits of hiking is that our ankles have to mobilize, and it helps with our body awareness, helps to prevent trips and falls. Circling our knees is great for that. We'll come back through center. Let's stand tall. Once more up through center, big breath in, resetting our posture as we reach overhead. And let's release our hands to our hips. We'll take our hips in a circle. We'll come wider, more of a Tai Chi stance, and take the hips around. And this is one area where people sometimes butt heads in the fitness world. How wide should our feet be? Certain practices say to be more narrow, our toes touching. Certain practices say to be wider. I'm a big believer in letting our bodies be our guide. I know often for women or anyone with balance issues, it's just more comfortable to be wider, feels natural to be wider. Fantastic. We could call it our Tai Chi stance for today. Let's switch directions. And feel free to keep that Tai Chi stance through any of your other workout programs, right? This is the benefit of working out at home alone. Nobody can see how you're modifying for your own needs. I hope we feel we are loosening up through the sides of the hip, the back of the legs, maybe the front of the hip or the low back. Let's come back through center. We'll take our feet a little bit wider. Now that we have loosened up our hips, let's take our hands, we'll wave side to side. So I've seen this done a few ways that we can move just the upper body, right? Like, so maybe it's a heat wave and you're doing this just for the mindful benefit. You want to get some mindful movement going. We'll feel gentle energy in the palms, welcome a peaceful expression on our faces. If we want to get more mobility, we can take our hips side to side. And if we want to get more of a lower body workout, we can bend the knees, taking our body weight side to side. So there are lots of options here. I have seen this done as like a super fitness option, kind of stomping side to side as we're waving our hands. Yogi's choice, or maybe I should say Tai Chi practitioner's choice. We'll just keep going, a few more each way, getting whatever benefit we feel we need out of this movement. And then let's all walk our feet together. We are ready for squatting movements. Let's start with our Tai Chi inspired little squat to warm us up before we get into our chair pose. We'll take our hands to go with our legs. So we're gonna bend into a little, almost like we're sitting in a bar stool, and then come back up. And our hands will go with it. We can spread our fingers to help spread our toes. And let's keep our heels down. Again, this awareness of stretching through the calves. Back of the ankle, back of the heels can be great for plantar fasciitis pain or heel pain. I know I've been having issues with that lately. So this one might be a bit of a stretch for some of us. When we're ready, we can make it into more of a yoga pose. Hands to heart, sitting our hips down and back, again, hinging forward. If we would like to make it a bigger movement, maybe we're taking our hands down to our thighs and then up to our shoulders to check in with our posture again. Let's check in with our belly lock, dantian, whatever we like to call it. Our abs have to work a lot to get us to pitch forward without falling forward, and then stand tall into some nice strong posture. Last one to the top, and then we're gonna alter it so it's a single leg. So we can take our hands to thigh, shift our body weight, and maybe we have our toes tapped. We're gonna go to the other side. And these are just arm option variations. You can be doing whatever you like with your arms, right? And another benefit of working out at home. If we would like more challenge, we could have our hands to heart center, leave our knee lifted. It's a tricky one to be squatting on one leg. We do not have to go that low, right? It can be our little Tai Chi bar stool squats, a little tap or a little lift. But again, fantastic for our feet and ankles to have to shift our body weight to one leg. It causes the inner arches to lift up, which a lot of us can benefit from. Our little arches get a bit sleepy over the winter, I think, wearing heavy boots. Okay, we'll go once more each way. Come back through center and stand tall. And then we might feel the need to circle our ankles. Feel free to drink at any time throughout this. And we will do a variation of our single. Oh, we're gonna do our sun salutation before we get into our single whip. That's why I make notes. Okay, so in our Tai Chi, there's sort of this walking. So let's start with walking, and then we will add on a more aggressive sun salutation. And again, it's not a very traditional walking movement. What do we normally do? We inhale, gentle through our fingers as we step into sort of a modified warrior one, and then back through center. Inhaling, switching sides. So you can see it's sort of a walking movement where it gets its name. Back heel stays pressed down as we roll through the front heel. So feel free to go not the same speed as me, and I know sometimes I pause while I explain things. Always feel free to just keep moving in a way that feels good. We'll go once more, and then we're gonna make it more like our sun salutations, sort of, but not really. Okay, we're gonna do a big step forward into a warrior one. So that just means a bigger step than we did in our walking. We're gonna reach up. We're gonna come back through center, and we're gonna sit into a squat. That's it. Walking big step forward into our warrior one. Step back, might take 2 steps to get us there, and we're gonna sit into a squat. So in our sun salutation, we're normally doing a big lunge or a warrior one, and not so much in the way of upright. There's more, what am I saying? We get down to the floor, and here, we're gonna keep it upright because it's Tai Chi inspired. I hope we're feeling a little bit of heat while we're here. Some balance challenge, some strength work. We'll go once more each way. And then as we come back through center, let's have a little pause with lateral flexion. So in our yoga class, we normally do a big stretch up and over. Let's start with that. Big reach up, take a breath in. We'll take it the other way. And maybe you're saying, I can't do that. My arm doesn't go there. We could still use these thumbs to shoulder arms that we've been doing. But maybe we like a more Tai Chi variation. We want to take one hand up, one hand down as we reach. And then we switch. Which hand is up? Which hand is down? Our coordination, we can do palm to palm through the center. Sometimes it helps to watch our hands as we go. So we have lots of options here. And I find it easier with so many of these movements with the right and not easy with the left because I'm right-handed. So you might find the same from your dominant to your non-dominant hand. Let's do one more here. We'll come back through center. Okay, we'll do a variation of single whip, sort of, as I promised. I'm gonna call it wash the window. So we're gonna make a wash the window movement with our right hand. We're gonna step into sort of a warrior two position and then come back. So let's go together. We're gonna wash the window, step out into warrior two. Our left hand is gonna press forward as our right hand pulls back. Let's come back to start. We'll do that again, right? I'm really working us on this tall posture, kind of open palm position. We'll do it again. Okay, we wash the window, step out into our warrior two. We're working the back of the shoulder as we pull the elbows back. I love that. I don't know if you love it, but I think most of our work during the day is slouching. So anything we can do working back in here to pull the elbows back can help. We're gonna hold here. Speaking of which, we're gonna shift front and back. So we're gonna pull left elbow back, right elbow back, left elbow back, right elbow back. Working our low belly muscles, working the back of the shoulders, keeping us tall and strong while keeping us calm and cool. Okay, moving into warrior one, let's take our arms overhead, pausing in a standard warrior one position, or maybe we're shifting a bit further back to get increased stretch for the front of the left hip and the left calf. We're gonna pause and hold, that's all. Option here to interlace our hands in behind for a chest expansion, punching down. And we could have sort of wings back behind us as a different option. Let's shift our body weight back to stretch the back of the right leg. Pausing and holding. So if we did need balance, you know, the chair would most likely be right in front of you. You can put one hand on it. We'll come back through center and reset. And again, we might need this chair. Let's come into a wide-legged forward fold. So our feet are in our Tai Chi stance. We might even like it a little bit wider. Hands to our thighs, and we'll come forward into our wide-legged forward fold. If we want to keep working the back of the elbows, let's pull elbows to the ceiling-ish, depending on how far down we are. We can make a tight fist this time. We'll punch down and pull up. Last one here, we pull up strong. Let's pull up the rest of our bodies. We'll take it to the other side. So we're gonna wash the window, push and pull. Here we go. Wash the window. Right hand presses forward, left elbow pulls back, and we repeat. So you may know this from your Tai Chi class, stepping out to a single whip, but I think of it more as a warrior two leg, and then we twist our bodies into warrior one. We're gonna twist and hold, working the back of the arms, pull the elbows, working the back of the left side, the back of the right side, one at a time. Our body weight can shift front and back as is comfortable for you. Moving in to warrior one. Turning our body weight towards our left leg, maybe taking a little bit more space between the feet so we can press down the right heel, feeling more length through the front of the right hip. If it's comfortable for the arms, we can look conventional warrior one arms overhead or anything else that is comfortable here. Sometimes it helps for our balance to pinch our ears. I don't know what that mechanism is in the body, but it's always the tip that people give. Option for a chest expansion, winging the arms back. We might like to just wing the elbows back, taking our hands to the back of the pelvis. Or again, punching down in chest expansion. Option to shift our weight back to stretch the back of the front leg. So it's stretching the left hamstring in this case, maybe feeling it through the calf, or you might be feeling the muscle, the tibialis in the front of the shin, working here. It's usually an underutilized muscle. And again, it can be so great for our ankles and our knees to work that muscle. Okay, we're shifting back into our wide-legged forward fold. It is our second round of wide-legged forward fold. Taking hands to thighs. Let's see if our bodies want to go lower this time. So maybe this time through, we're bending our knees and we can take our hands to the chair in front of you or to the floor. And I'll add the option for a twist. So if you do have the chair in front of you or your kitchen countertop, whatever that is, that's a nice landing spot for the hands. Otherwise, we'll take hands to heart. Let's free the right hand and twist open to the right hand side. Adding a twist to our wide-legged forward fold. Coming back through center, let's twist the other way. We're getting a lot of work for those back muscles today without being too intense or too hot, I hope. Using our strength to come back through center and all the way up. Let's do one more standing flow before we get into our moon salutation. Snake, creeps, and pheasant stands. I'll walk us through the first one slowly. We start with kind of this fun beak movement in the hand, which is sort of like a come at me bro, modified language for the modern day Tai Chi practitioner. Okay, so this is how we show we're tough. We turn the right toes out, so opposite hand and foot. This is our snake creep. Gonna come down the leg, almost like a triangle pose. Then we bend the left leg, bring it across, coming into a standing balance or tap, okay? Let's do it again together. Tai Chi stance, strong beak with the arm as we turn our toes out. We're sliding down, so we're shifting our hip as we do in triangle. We're bending the knee of the hip that we are shifting, and then let's come to balance on the opposite foot. Pheasant stand. Keep it going. We'll do one more here. This time we're gonna set up differently. So let's open out. We're getting ready for triangle. We'll shift our hips back as we've been doing. We'll keep them like this as we straighten the right hand forward into our triangle pose. We can take hand to thigh, probably not our shin. Let's circle the top arm. We're loosening up our top shoulder. We'll go 3, 2. This last one is gonna bring us up, and we're reversing our triangle lateral flexion. So we're stretching the right side of the ribs. Let's come back through center, and we'll take it the other way. Okay. If you're like me, non-dominant side, a little bit trickier the second time through. So we're showing we're tough with our fun beak hand. As we're turning out, our snake is creeping down. We're shifting our hip as we do in triangle. Then we're bending that same leg. This kind of helps us come into our balance. So we sneak our pheasant hand across, and we can make it a bigger movement if we prefer. Okay, let's do it more to tempo. Hand up, toes out. Shifting hips, creeping snake. We can bend the right knee. We bring it across and stand to balance or tap. This time we'll open out for triangle. We're gonna shift our hip back as we've been doing. Maybe feels like we're pulling it up with our hand. We slide down into triangle. Maintaining a neutral spine without slumping. That might mean we need to take our feet a little wider. Let's circle the arm for 3. Our last one brings us up. We reverse our triangle, and it brings us back through center. We'll take our feet wide for a side-to-side lunge. All 10 toes are pointed forward. Let's stick our butts back as in chair pose. One leg looks like chair pose. We'll come up through center, and we'll take it the other way. So I first had this introduced to me with fingers in the front. First 2 fingers and thumb touching, and then ring finger and pinky up. And We turn the toes up, again, working our tibialis, that muscle in the front of the shin, and gesture down toward the leg. Not exactly sure what style of practice this is, but I think it's fun and a way that we can bring some style into the practice. Make it your own. If we find balance is tough, feet can come closer. We can do a smaller gesture. If we like, okay, a lot of work, we can take it lower. We'll just do a couple more. Bring it back through center. Let's come into our squat or horse stance, and we'll hold sun pose. Fingers are open, palms are up, feeling the warmth of the sun in our hearts. Holding steady after all that movement. We may like to lift one heel at a time, challenging our inner thigh strength. Maybe both heels together. See if we can hold and pause. Lowering down. All right, let's take hands to hips. We'll walk our feet towards one another. It is time for our modified moon salutations. Sign salutations are a forward and backward movement of the body. Moon salutations are a side to side movement of the body. Okay, how are we gonna do it? We're gonna take our arms to T. We're gonna turn the right toes out. So we are ready for side to side movement towards the right. And we'll go like this, kind of like our triangle prep. We're gonna go 3, 2, 1, and this last one is gonna bring us up into a modified half moon balance, or what I like to call a figure skater pose. I've also heard it called star pose. We'll come back through center, and we'll take it the other way. Pivoting toes the other side, we go. 3, 2, 1, coming up to balance. We have to catch ourselves on the way back as gracefully as possible so we can turn to the other side. Once you get the feel of it, feel free to move at your own speed. And just like our sun salutations, it's a repetitive pattern. We'll keep going. You may find that you want to do a lot of bend in both legs. That might help us feel better. If you do have a chair, obviously I have this one off to the side, so you would have to turn towards the front to balance if that is where your chair is, okay? We can modify to balance so that we don't fall over. That's probably an important thing in our practice, I hope. We are almost ready to wind it down. So if you do find that balance practices work up a lot of heat for you, we're almost there. Whichever side you finished on, or whichever side you started on, let's finish on the opposite side. So I'm on the opposite side here. I'm gonna come back through center. When you're ready, join me, and we'll just do our cool down breath. Inhale up and exhale down, softening the knees. We're all here together. We'll do a little balance. Okay. Again, we might like our chair, and we're gonna step side to side as we've been doing. So you can tap the toes, or you can have your chair nearby, the back of the chair in front of you, so you can put your hand on it as we balance. What are we doing? Okay, we're gonna do a side to side tree pose. It's going to look like this. We're gonna wash the windows as we've been doing, and then step open. So we're just gonna briefly pause in tree and then go to the other side. Join me whenever you're ready. Briefly pausing and stepping to the other side. You can inhale up, exhale as we open. Maybe you prefer the opposite pattern of breath, totally fine. Working the muscles that rotate the hips open, so you might feel a real squeeze as you pull out. We'll go once more each way. And then we're back through center. And I'll get my chair too. We can do this one together. So if you do have a chair, you're using a chair, we're gonna come to stand to the side of the chair. We'll do our right side first, so left hand is on the chair. Again, another neglected muscle. I feel like the back of the legs get all the attention, and the front of the legs don't get so much. So we work to the front of the shin, we're gonna stretch the front of the thigh. So we're gonna have left and left for stability, and then right and right for flexibility. Let's start by bending and straightening the right leg to loosen up the front of the leg. We can tap down as many times as we need to, but if we like more of a quad stretch, we can come into a quad stretch here. I like to do a big circle up, around, and back with my arm to loosen up the front of the shoulder. If we like, or if we can grab the right ankle. And if we can't reach, what can we do? We can do just as we did when we were standing in our chest expansion. We can pull the elbow back or wing the arm back, and we can just hold our quad stretch in the leg. The back of the leg is working hard to help lengthen out the front of the leg. Standing tall, we'll take one breath in. Try not to work in too heated a fashion. And then we'll let it go. And we'll take it to the other side. So wherever you are, feel free to turn around and put your back to me. I'm gonna move my chair and stay with you. Okay, so right side, stability. Left side, let's loosen up. Bending and straightening the leg, thinking fluidity in the front of the thigh. Did we do a good job today? Did we channel the element of water? I hope. We can hold it up. We can do our big sweep and hold the right ankle, or we can hold the back of the pelvis. We can wing the arm down. Know that whichever variation we pick, we're still moving into the same shape. Our muscles are still being lengthened in the same direction, even if we're not holding the ankle. In fact, the back of the body has to work a lot harder if we're not holding the ankle. So we can get a bit more muscular challenge, even if we're not getting the same opening in terms of our flexibility. Still moving there. Okay, one more breath. And release. Beautiful. Let's finish with a seated meditation. So that is the beauty of our chair. We do not have to get down to the floor. If you would prefer to get down to the floor, by all means. We just want to make sure always that we cool down before we sit down or lie down if you're prone to blood pressure issues or getting a head rush. If you're ready to join me here, let's finish with a mountain meditation. Hands wherever it's comfortable. Sometimes it can be nice to have hands on thighs to feel grounded. We may like hands on heart like we did earlier. Again, the emotions of the summer might make us feel that this heat bubbles up from within. Sometimes it can feel cooling or soothing to have hands to heart center. Maybe we like something else. It's all good. Option to close our eyes and turn our attention inward. As we did at the very beginning of our practice, maybe shaking our heads out, emptying out some of our thoughts, not dwelling on any of the movements that we've done, letting go of any need to anticipate what comes next. Steady breath in through the nose, and then exhale, nose or mouth. A pursed lip breath, so breathing like we're breathing through a straw, can sometimes feel cooling and soothing. And let's breathe fully, but also breathing with a sense of calm peacefulness. So we have this balance between vitality, this energy that we just stirred up, and also welcoming stillness and a gentle quality into the body. Checking in with how we're feeling, head to toe. noticing the hum of energy in the body. Let's maintain our core strength while we sit tall. Coming back to this idea of being grounded into the earth, head floating to the clouds. And I'll guide us through our mountain meditation. Opening our mind's eye to the image of a mountain. Seeing what picture of a mountain comes to mind as I say the word. It may be magnificent, beautiful. Maybe it's a single mountain with one tall peak. Or perhaps a mountain range. As with our body awareness, the mountain is rooted into the earth, with the peak of the mountain growing up into the gentle clouds. Allowing this image to form more fully in our mind's eye, noticing all the details of the mountain or mountain range. Noticing how beautiful, solid, massive, and unmoving the mountain is. Noticing if the mountain is up close or far away, or perhaps seeing it from all angles. Is your mountain rugged or picturesque? Is it blanketed by snow or meadow? There may be streams, waterfalls, and other items of terrain on your mountain. Observing the mountain here, noting all the qualities that a mountain has to offer. And when you feel ready to do so, bringing the qualities of the mountain into yourself as you sit here. Feeling that your body and the image of the mountain can become one. You can share in the massiveness, the stillness, the rugged strength of the mountain. In a way, in this meditation, we become the mountain, grounded in a tall sitting posture. Our head becomes the lofty peak floating to the clouds, and we are supported by the earth herself. We can feel our solid base and the strength deep within us. Is there a way that with each breath we can become more like a mountain? Can we breathe more like a mountain? Can we be alive and vital like a mountain? Beyond words and thoughts, centered and grounded in our posture, our felt sense of mountainness, and this image in our mind's eye. Right now, let's bring summer to the mountain. The sun is high in the sky, the mountain is warm. It's covered in wildlife and teems with activity. As the mountain sits, autumn follows summer. The mountain changes Perhaps it's covered in brilliant orange, yellow, and red leaves. The leaves fall away, and winter presents itself with a blanket of snow and ice. As spring comes, the mountain sheds its winter skin and melts. Lakes, streams, and rivers are alive with water. In any season, the mountain finds itself visited by clouds, rain, animals, tourists, good days and bad days, nighttime, daytime, nighttime, daytime. None of this matters to the mountain. The mountain remains tall, and through it all, the mountain remains itself. The mountain cannot be changed by circumstances that come and go. Let's feel this here in ourselves. Seeing if we can sense our core selves deep within us, sitting unmoved by today's weather, by what happens on the surface, tapping into our core essential self. And in this way, as we sit in meditation, we can learn to draw energy from the mountain, to be more of who we are at our core. In our lives and in our meditation practice, out in the world, circumstances are constantly changing, and yet we can come back to ourselves, our mountain, and an authentic sense of being. You may be withstanding a personal storm, and the image of the mountain may be particularly valuable to you to feel rooted and to have a moment of calm amidst the chaos. We may like to bring hands to heart center to finish our practice. I hope this meditation has brought some value to your day, wherever you are, whatever you're going through. Thank you for joining me. From my light to yours, namaste.